Yeah, I just wondered if we've got our picks here on this sheet. Shouldn't we just go through the games and give Steve to give an off the cuff just pick for each game? So when you do your thing about Neil and Jay are going for the same one, but James has gone mad again.
I haven't done that yet.
That's true. James hasn't really gone off the cuff. And actually, Neil, I planned on allowing Steve to make his pick after I go through all of these things.
Okay.
I have done a lot of research on these games, Neil.
I'm just not used to you preparing for these things. Sorry.
I do it every week. They're all right here. The notes are right here.
I'm just being a good British person and including our guest. That's all.
Okay.
My God.
The point spread in this
one tonight, though.
The point spread in this one is 17. Everything says the Patriots win going away. The best defense in the league, fewest points in yards allowed in the league. Brady 11-1 on Thursday night. Rookies are 0 for everything versus Belichick in Foxborough.
All right.
And yet it's Thursday night and it's the effing Giants. And I can see them putting a scare in me. I'm taking the Pats. I'm feeling nervous. We're all taking the Patriots. I'm assuming, Steve, you are too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. There really isn't much to break down here. I mean,
it's not,
no Saquon, right, James?
Yeah, let's start with Saquon Barkley. His ankle, Sterling Shepard's concussion, Wayne Gallman's concussion, and Evan Ingram's knee have all four of them out tonight. Linebacker Lorenzo Carter is listed as questionable with a neck. For the Patriots, you will have no Philip Dorsett tonight. He is listed as out. Rex Burkhead, Julian Edelman, Josh Gordon, Shaquille Calhoun, and Patrick Chung all show up when the injury report is questionable with various heel, ankle, knee, chest, and foot injuries.
I'll tell you which ones are out. Go ahead and repeat them.
Patrick Chung, heel.
Out.
Shaquille Calhoun, ankle.
Out.
Josh Gordon, knee.
In.
Julian Edelman, chest.
In.
Rex Burkhead, foot.
I would actually list him as doubtful.
And there you go.
He's the one that I don't know if he'll be out or in.
So who can guess who the starting running back will be for the Giants? Anybody want to have a guess?
Me. I'm catching a flight after this podcast.
Okay. Steve, any idea?
No idea.
Okay.
Hold on.
Not looking at depth charts.
No cheating. Don't look it up.
Yeah.
I actually don't know because they released Paul Perkins earlier this season, right? So it's not Paul Perkins.
It's going to be Elijah Penny. Yes, that Elijah Penny.
Okay. Do you have more on Elijah Penny or no?
No. Elijah Penny was free agent signing for the Giants in the offseason. I think he played for Arizona last year. He's been in the league a couple of years, bouncing around on practice squads and so. But he was waived. He was waived by Arizona towards the end of camp. So he's picked up there by the Giants, and he's going to be getting carries tonight. So it's not going to be a good night for Elijah Penny, is it? Otherwise, I hope he hasn't invited his family to the stadium because he's going to get crushed.
I don't think he has. All right. So there you go. It is Thursday Night Football. Crazier things have happened on Thursday Night Football.
It's not the Super Bowl. You have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and Eli Manning is sitting on the bench, not starting. Okay. I feel a little better. All right, Sunday games. And we begin bright and early Eastern time for us, but it's, midday over there in London as we kick off Sunday coverage with the Carolina Panthers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tottenham. Strange occurrences happening in Tottenham, Neil. First, you got the Germans scoring up like crazy, and then you got an upset in the Raiders beating the Bears. Is there something in the stadium? Did they build a special underdogs-only win here sort of device?
No, I think what you'll find is that in Britain, the Raiders are very popular. So I didn't actually look, to be honest, but I would imagine the crowd would be very much in favor of the Raiders. So maybe a little bit of that unlucky home field advantage, but they pulled it off. And this week we've got Carolina at Tampa Bay. And I would say historically, and going back to the early 80s, Tampa Bay were the most popular team in the UK when the NFL kind of first hit the UK. And that was because I think back in those days, they were like 0-16 and all these terrible records. And we like that. We like the underdog in Britain, so they became very popular.
All right. Well, the Panthers
they had the first fan club of any NFL team in the UK.
Okay. Well, the Panthers are 16th in the power rankings. The Buccaneers are 23rd, and the Panthers are favored by 2.5. Steve, who you got in this one?
Well, I vacillated, but I ended up going with the Panthers.
And that is the right pick.
I would have gone with them.
And that is the right pick, Steve. You and I are on the same page. Neil and James, for some crazy reason, are with the Buccaneers. With 134 scrimmage yards against Tampa Bay, Christian McCaffrey will join Pro Football Hall of Famers Jim Brown and Marshall Faulk as the only players in NFL history with at least 1,000 scrimmage yards through their team's first 6 games of a season. So the first question I pose to you Tampa Bay lovers is, can Run CMC keep it up, James?
He's going to have to, because he's making everything easy for Kyle Allen right now. And I don't understand why this wasn't the game plan when Newton was quarterbacking the first 2 weeks, albeit Newton still was injured, whether he wants to admit it or not. But McCaffrey has a chance to do the 1,000-yard double this year. They just need to lean on him. But whether he can hold up through an entire season of carrying this offense, I don't know.
See, my thinking came, Jay, from, well, obviously we all know that Tampa Bay are ranked 32nd against the pass defensively, but they are number 2 against the run. Now, whether that's because teams just pass on them, who knows? But they're only giving up 69 yards a game against the opposing running back. So that was where I kind of thought they probably stopped McCaffrey in the run game. And, we'll see what they can do. Tampa Bay are one of those teams, I always feel like they could go in and score 40 points. Or they could go in and score 6 points. It's one of those. It's either or, and I can see them putting points against a Carolina team, which is, they've got a lot of injuries on that team, a lot of key injuries, and I think that home field advantage playing in England will just give them a slight advantage. It's going to be a close game, isn't it? I mean, I don't know what the spread is, Jay. But it's going to be close, I think.
2.5. The second question, and this one, James, I know you're probably not going to like it. I'm going to ask it anyway. Does the kid from the Play 60 commercials, Kyle Allen, Tom Brady, Cam Newton?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I want to lean towards no, but he's playing solid enough where he's not making any truly egregious errors. He's staying within the scheme of the offense or what they're doing. Like I said, they're leaning on Christian McCaffrey more than anything, and it seems to be he's leaning on McCaffrey as a check down when he's not throwing the ball downfield. So, I mean, I guess that's a positive. He has a couple of interceptions, but they're not back-breaking at the most inopportune time. Last week, what was he? No, that was he did get well against the Jaguars last week. So, I mean, I can't really say that, he doesn't eventually supplant Newton. Whether that's this year when Newton is fully healthy, I don't know. Rivera is still held from an old school way of thinking of that. The default starter gets his job back. Injury is not going to cost Cam Newton his job, and Rivera is of that mindset. So unless they completely go off the rails here, and they haven't played any of the upper echelon teams in the league yet. So they haven't played like, the Seahawks or the Saints yet. So they haven't played the top teams in the conference at this point. So they really, I'm not going to say they haven't been tested, but for the games that they've had in front of them, he's played solid.
But But Steve, isn't this about what James mentioned? It's Cam Newton's health, isn't it? If Cam Newton's healthy, and as in 100% healthy, he's getting his job back straight away. There's no question about it. He's the guy who was an MVP a couple of years ago.
If you were addressing me, I would agree, Neil. Yes.
See, I don't know about that, Neil. I mean, they said the same thing about Drew Bledsoe, who was a very prolific passer of his day, had just gotten a giant paycheck. You want to know who's due for a giant paycheck? Cam Newton. To me, I mean, in this day and age of the NFL, you go with the cheaper option and you build a team around a guy just as successful, if not more successful.
I think you're underplaying how good Cam Newton is when he is fully healthy, and I don't think we've seen him fully healthy for maybe nearly two full seasons. I think when he is fully healthy, he's as good as anything in this league, and he's proved that by being an MVP. I don't remember Bledsoe's MVP year. When was that? Was that pre-1970?
He was an MVP. Trust me.
Yeah, maybe in your heart, Jay. Yeah.
Do you guys think Carolina is a real good quarterback away from being a terrific team?
Yeah.
I think they're a wide receiving core away from being a terrific team. I think they still need some. I think they still need some air weapons there.
I think they're good. I think if Newton was fully healthy, they'd be as good as anybody in that division.
Well, let's look at that division.
I agree with Neil on that one.
But wait, let's look at that division. You're looking at a breezeless New Orleans Saints
that only has one loss.
Falcons team that has not been playing up to their potential whatsoever, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I think if Breeze was healthy, I think, and Newton was healthy, I think it would be those two teams. And they're good. I
would put the Saints way above the Carolina Panthers.
I wouldn't put them that far above.
Put it on the board!
Oh, gosh. Moving on to injuries from this game, for the Buccaneers, we have guard Alex Kappa is going to be out due to a broken arm, so he'll miss a few weeks. Jason Pierre-Paul is going to miss his game with a neck injury. Justin Evans, safety, was put on injured reserve. Questionable to play, Chris Godwin with a hip, Brashard Perriman with a hamstring, and Dominican Sue has a knee injury, and running back T.J. Logan was a non-participant due to an ankle. For the Carolina Panthers, guard Trey Turner has an ankle injury. Greg Little, tackle, is in the concussion protocol. Christian McCaffrey is nursing a back injury. Eric Reed, ankle injury. Shaq Thompson, ankle. And Gerald McCoy is questionable. Doesn't say specifically what his injury is. Those are the big names showing up on the report this week.
McCaffrey's back injury, that's pretty much from carrying the team through the first 5 weeks.
That's legit.
That is very legit. By the way, is this our first repeat game of the year?
Yes, it is. They played week 1.
Yeah, the Bucs won 20-14. All right. I still like
week 2 on Thursday night.
I still like the Play 60 kid to come out on top. The Cincinnati Bengals 0-5 against the Baltimore Ravens 3-2. Ravens fall to 10th in our power rankings. The Bengals stay steady at 30th. Steve, I doubt you're going to go against everybody else. Who do you got?
I got the Ravens.
Yes, as do we all. I've made the Ravens my lock of the week. The spread is 11.5 in this one. I will caution all of you out there. The Bengals have actually beaten the Ravens 2 out of their last 3 meetings. And their last meeting, the Ravens only won by a field goal. That was last season. Andy Dalton has 9 touchdowns, no picks in his last 3 versus Baltimore, has 3,786 passing yards versus Baltimore, which is the most versus any opponent for him. The Ravens are the highest scoring team in the league this year, and the Bengals are a team that are just horrible. Ravens win. Don't blame Andy.
The Ravens are great for a quarter and look pretty bad for 2 or 3 quarters, and that Justin Tucker is a real asset.
It was funny that you started with the stat for Andy Dalton because the Ravens have secondary injuries. Maurice Canady is questionable for this game. Jimmy Smith is out with a knee injury, and Tony Jefferson